best 60 seconds of your day. The busy Homer Hour. Rain Man, caller 5, 1-800-990-3776. Caller 5. Our leader so far is Joe in Milwaukee with 7. Is that right?
That's right. Last week, a first-timer.
Yeah. Get you all the great partners. 1-800-990-3776. Caller 5. 15 questions, 2 minutes. The only one who can't compete is Joe because he's the leader. Everybody else, in addition to somebody was ahead the week before, and they got 5 right. But you can't be the leader. You can be in second place. And you automatically win a $25 gift card from Cousin Subs. That's amazing, even if you suck. I didn't want to have that rule, and they said that's how you got to do it, Homer. And so, fine. Cousin Sub is that nice. Let's do it. Easiest competition ever. You automatically get $25. And if you win the game, which goes until the end of June, we do 2 a year. If you are number 1, you then win a Cousin Subs for a year, which, as people who've won have said, it's worth about $300, and it's fantastic. So, want to thank Cousin Subs, and also want to thank Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service, and they've been doing it well for over 50 years. And I add this one, which is why they do it so well. They're small enough to handle your needs with special attention, but large enough to have the clout to make it happen. You got to be large enough to have the clout so that the companies they deal with understand you got to take care of the people working with Saganiac Planning. They're happy to do that. And then Saganiac Planning's small enough so that you get the attention in addition from them to the companies they deal with. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service for over 50 years. Phone number, just remember 783. Saganiac Planning, 262-783. Roger Maris, 6161.
That number again, 262-783-6161.
And who's our contestant, Pebble?
Our contestant today is Yusuf in Whitefish Bay.
Yusuf, good afternoon. I would like your Rain Man resume, please.
I don't have a resume.
You've never done this before?
Nope, first time.
Have you listened before to have an idea of the competition?
Yes, I have heard the contest before.
All right, and Pebble, do we give Yusuf the information, or will he not listen like everybody else who doesn't listen?
I can give the information. Yusuf, you got 2 minutes to go through all 15 questions. If you don't know the answer, say skip or pass. Homer, come back to it. Don't dilly-dally, because otherwise you're going to run out of time. We got to get through all 15 questions in 2 minutes.
All right.
Got it? All right. The first question, Yusuf, is the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question. They are a great supporter of Marquette. By the way, 1 o'clock tomorrow, they will have the introduction with the new Vice President, Director of Athletics, Mike Broker. But Saganiac Planning, the first question, the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question. You ready to go, Yusuf?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go. He holds the Marquette record with 956 assists.
Pass.
C.C. Sabathia in the 1998 Major League Baseball draft was picked 5, 20, or 45. Which number? C.C. Sabathia.
45.
Incorrect. Sabathia, 251 career wins, exactly the same number as what other Hall of Fame pitcher known for his time with the Cardinals?
Bob Gibson?
Correct. He pitched for the Braves. He pitched for the Brewers. He had 324 career wins, the same as Nolan Ryan.
Pitched for the Brewers?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Pass.
He pitched for the Milwaukee Braves. He had 363 career wins.
Oh. Warren Spahn.
Correct. Who had more career wins, Greg Maddux or Roger Clemens?
Clemens.
Incorrect. Bucks career scoring. Giannis 1, Kareem 2. Who is number 3 career scoring all time for the Bucks?
I'm gonna go with Terry Cummings.
Incorrect. Bucks career leader, blocked shots.
Alton Liston.
Excuse me? No, Alton Lister, incorrect. Bucks career leader, triple doubles. Giannis has 50. Kareem is next. How many triples doubles did he have within 5?
Uh, 42.
Incorrect. Bucks career leader assists, Giannis. Who is number 2?
Paul Pressey.
Correct. Bucks one season leader, 2,822 points. Who did it?
Michael Redd.
Incorrect. Bucks one season, second in points scored, 2,596. Who did it?
Kareem.
Correct. Bucks one season, third in points, 2,361. Who did it?
Kareem.
Correct. Big Ten, back-to-back national football titles. They have it now. The last time was 41-42. Name either of the Big Ten teams that won the national championship in those years.
Minnesota.
That's correct. College
Golden
basketball, who's number 1 in the country?
Duke.
Duke is incorrect. They're number 2. I have 6, Pebble. Is that correct?
I have 6 as well.
And
yes.
I gave Yusuf an extra amount of time because maybe I was too slow. But Yusuf, Pebble, how long did he take on one question?
He took quite a long bit time.
Come
yes.
on, Yusuf. But by the way, you had some great answers. All right, let's see how good you are. You got 6. You're not the champ, so you can do it again next week. He holds the Marquette record with 956 assists.
Tony Miller.
Tony Miller is correct. CC Sabathia in the 98 and Major League Baseball draft was pick number 5, 20, or 45.
20.
20 is correct. You got Bob Gibson. CC Sabathia and Bob Gibson had exactly the same number of wins, 251. He pitched for the Brewers. He had 324 career wins, the same as Nolan Ryan.
Don Sutton?
Don Sutton, you nailed that. And you got Warren Spahn, yes, 363. Greg Maddux and Roger Clemens. Greg Maddux had 355 wins. Roger Clemens had 354. Bucks career scoring. Giannis is number 1. Kareem is number 2. Who is number 3?
Chris Middleton?
That is correct. Bucks career leader block shots.
Giannis.
Yes, it is. I can't remember what Yusuf said. He said somebody. Did he say
I think he said Elton Lister.
That's what I thought. Excellent choice. I'd have given you a half point for that, Yusuf. That was great. All right. Bucks career leader triple doubles. Giannis has 50. Kareem is next. With how many? You have to be within 5.
Does he have 20? 21?
8.
8?
He had
Wow.
8. You had between 3 and 13. Great pick, Paul Pressey, number 2 in Bucks career assists behind Giannis. Bucks one season leader, points 2,822. Who has it?
Is it Kareem?
It is Kareem. Bucks second in points in a season, 2,596, as correctly done by Yusuf. Kareem. Bucks one season third in points, 2,361.
That'd be
Say it
Kareem.
again. Kareem again. And I could have done 4. He has the top 4 seasons in points scored, which tells you how incredible he was. This was you should get more than 1 for this, Yusuf. Big Ten back-to-back national football titles now. There'll be time before that. The last time was 41-42. Name either of the national champs from the Big Ten then. Minnesota was correct, but there is one other.
It was Ohio State.
Ohio State. Minnesota won 40-41, so they actually have 3 in a row. And, felt bad for you, Yusuf, college basketball men's number 1 team in the country. He coached at UWM at one time.
The Auburn Tigers.
The Auburn Tigers. Who would have ever thought Auburn could be that good in basketball? Yes, Bruce Pearl. Duke is, by the way, number 2. Both teams are very capable of winning the national title. Yusuf, thanks. You should have gotten extra points for some of those, but you can try it again.
Thanks,
Please. What's the maximum amount of time that you should pebble? It's like 2 seconds.
Exactly.
If you don't have the
if you don't
immediate
have the top of your head,
pass.
then yeah.
Because I think if you had passed right away, you would have come back like I think it was with Pressey. So, but Yusuf, nice job. Yeah. Thanks for playing. Yusuf officially gets 6. Well, and why is that, Pebble? Because it doesn't matter because he's not tied for the lead.
Exactly.
Actually, I think he had, 3 before we ran out of time?
Yeah.
And, yes, Kareem, first, second, third, and fourth in terms of number of points scored in a season. And my guess is that's because he didn't rest as much as Giannis does. Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar averaged like 42 minutes per game played for the Bucks. And so He just played more, and so you might have had Giannis with a higher average per game, but that's only because he didn't play as many games. But total points in a season, use it if you wish. Top 4 is Kareem, and I think then Giannis has one, and then Kareem might have 3 more. He might have like 7 of the top 8. So we still have our same leader, Joe in Milwaukee at 7.
Yep.
There's a long time to go. Jason Wilde, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
We really don't have any more accidents up on the board, but we sure do have delays. Southbound 41 solid from Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. Southbound 43 very heavy from North Avenue all the way down to about the KK River crossing. Northbound 43 is also backing up from about Kilbourne all the way up towards Locust. Westbound 94 heavy out of the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road. Eastbound's got a couple of areas. One right past Barker Road to Brookfield Road, and then again from about 76th Street all the way through to 35th. Traffic is brought to you by the Knickerbocker on the Lake. Discover the Knickerbocker on the Lake, Milwaukee's historic hotel since 1929. Experience elegance, modern comfort, and unforgettable stays. Book now at knickerbockeronthelake.com. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Snow early, then clearing later on with a low of 13. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 20. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Join the roar of 18,000 Bucks fans at Fiserv Forum and be a part of the slam dunks, game-changing plays, and electrifying victories live. Witness the edge-of-your-seat action and unforgettable moments as they happen. You don't want to miss this. Grab your calendar, handpick your favorite matchups, and secure your seats for Dame time in Milwaukee and every incredible moment that comes next at bucks.com/tickets. That's bucks.com/tickets.
Homer here. I'm inviting you to join me starting August the 9th as we explore the many shades of Ireland with Colette Vacations, a 10-day journey filled with legendary views, historic expeditions, and unforgettable tales. Explore the historic city of Dublin, kiss the famous Blarney Stone, and stand on the spectacular cliffs of Moher. We'll also journey Ireland's breathtaking countryside and follow the stunning coastal route of the Ring of Kerry. We'll experience the daily life of an Irish family with a dairy farm visit and enjoy a taste or two at a historic whiskey distillery. We'll even stay overnight in a medieval castle. Join me for all of the experiences and so many more. All the details are online at espnmilwaukeetravel.com. Don't worry about the planning. Colette handles all the details of this 10-day excursion. You can get full scoop of this once-in-a-lifetime trip on February the 2nd at 5 p.m. as I'll be hanging out with the Colette team at Maddie's Bar and Grill in New Berlin. That's February 2nd, 5 p.m. Maddie's in New Berlin. Don't miss out.
Do you want to have more fun watching the NFL playoffs? Try playing Sleeper Picks. Just download the Sleeper app today and pick more or less on at least 2 players' projected stats. You can win up to 100 times your cash. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to just play $5 and they'll receive $55 in free entries. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code BRAD, B-R-A-D. Must be 18 years or older. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. If you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Everybody should get information on the Packers every day of the year from Jason Wilde. I know how to do it. Even if you don't catch a certain show, you go to WisconsinOnDemand.com. They have the box that says Jason Wilde. You hit it, and then you just listen to everything he says. And at some point you go, is he on every show on that station or those stations? Not everyone, but close. Good afternoon, Jason.
Well, you don't have to listen to all of them. You can just pick and choose which ones you want to listen to, right? You don't have to listen to all.
I've never asked you to rank your performances on various shows, but
clearly the Homer Hour is number one.
Yes. Every show he's on, when asked, it's number one. All right.
No, that's not true. I've been with you the longest, and plus, I only talk to you on Wednesdays. The other times, you just abdicate your responsibility and pawn me off on John Anderson and Brian Belaga.
Yes, I do. I love listening, and I love wanting to know what they're going to ask and what they'll be curious about. But, I get to do that now because I don't really have that much fascination on the new head coach of the Bears, but maybe I should. Everything is important only as it relates to the Green Bay Packers, and this clearly does. But no one can know for sure how he's going to be as a head coach. I just assume Caleb Williams will be better. Your thought,
right? That's why they hired him.
I think so. Yeah.
Of all the things that a head coach has to do, and there's many, the biggest one for them is that he's the right guy to make Caleb Williams a really, really good quarterback. That's their hope. And you look at Mike Holmgren with Brett Favre, right? Mike McCarthy with Aaron Rodgers. Belichick with Brady, all the best coaches miraculously somehow have great quarterbacks. Going back to Lombardi and Starr. I mean, he's the one who realized that Starr had inside of him what he had, right? And so, to me anyway, this is Ben Johnson. Is he going to be a good head coach? Is he going to be a good in-game decision maker? Is he going to manage the clock well? Is he going to use his timeouts well? Is he going to be smart about his challenges? I don't know. Probably. But the most important thing is that he gets Caleb Williams to play at the apex of his ability. And I was just reading a tweet from someone, Kyle, I think his name is, saying what a devoted listener he is to the show, and we appreciate everyone who listens to Wilde and Tausch, which is 3 times longer than the Homer Hour. But, he said, why do you guys always talk about the Bears when they do something? Well, you just said it. Everything is important as it relates to the Green Bay Packers. And, whether it was our conversation this morning about Jaden Daniels, who, I don't really care about Jaden Daniels. What I care about is how is his play influencing how we view Jordan Love's play. Because you want to say, you just look at Jordan Love based on his own play. You're not comparing and contrasting, but you are, right? You are because...
Well, yeah, because if he's special, then you got one more team that you got to deal with in the NFC, and it's possible he could be that good. Not guaranteed, but right now... Just imagine how all the teams felt when Brett Favre became Brett Favre. They're like, oh, my God, we got to deal with the Packers.
Right, and Holmgren was hired in part because, they didn't have Favre yet. They hadn't acquired him. They hired Holmgren first, but because he was the hot offensive coordinator who had been, the right-hand man to Bill Walsh, and who was the young guy. He was, 43 maybe when the Packers
and
hired
had
him?
Been impressive in working with Montana.
Right, and young. And so I would argue that, the reason why it matters to Packers fans is because if he's the guy that unlocks what clearly the previous staff couldn't in Caleb Williams' first year, then the Bears are going to be a problem, right? And so, and by comparison, and I've been saying this now since the season ended, I just think this is such a critical offseason because the feeling about this team, and I don't want to base things on vibe, right? You want to base it on fact and film and the thoughts of people that know the game and know this team, like, the coaches and the scouts and players, etc. But, like, the vibe is just completely different. Like, I know there are still the Jordan Love loyalists that just believe he's the next, he's been, anointed as the next Hall of Fame Packers quarterback, and maybe he will turn out to be that. But there's been a lot of really good quarterbacks in the NFL that weren't quite good enough to get to Canton. Some of them even won Super Bowls. But to me, this is a pivotal year, a fulcrum season where you say, okay, he's special because he plays brilliantly in 2025, or yeah, he's good, he's okay. You can win you can win games with him. Are you gonna win a title with him? Maybe if all the stars align. So I just think this is a really important year, and when you contrast him with other quarterbacks, whether it's Jaden Daniels or whether it's next year if Caleb Williams suddenly in a new system flourishes, you could go the other direction too, right? Like, look at what Jared Goff did in the Lions loss. Look at what Sam Darnold did in the Vikings loss. Look what Jordan Love did in the Packers loss. And all three of them, you're like, hey, those guys, they didn't elevate their teams and they didn't elevate their games, and they all lost. So the quarterback position is important. Obviously, that's stating the obvious. But it's even more important when a team that drafted a guy number 1 overall who was viewed as this can't-miss prospect, and now you have paired him with the Mike Holmgren of 2025, because that's what Ben Johnson is. He is the hot commodity offensive coordinator that they're hoping and pinning all of Chicago's hopes on him being able to get Caleb Williams to be as good as they've dreamed he's capable of being.
And I was going to ask you, because my question right now is more about LaFleur than Jordan Love, because I'm incapable of understanding how somebody who you've talked about is guys are always open. Now you get this running back that's better than you've ever had, and now guys aren't open? I don't get it. And I assume LaFleur is good enough to address that in the offseason. But that, to me, is a bigger question than Jordan Love, because I don't have an answer as to how the hell it happened.
Yeah, I think the way you asked that is perfect, too. I would love to have the opportunity to sit down with him, and maybe that's how I'll phrase it if I do, which is help me understand how you got guys roaming the countryside wide open in the previous system, and now you add a guy who's even better than Aaron Jones, but you run a different style of run offense and a different scheme, and suddenly now you're saying the Mike McCarthyism of, guys got to win their one-on-ones. Like, that just help me understand that, because what made Matt LaFleur, I've told the story plenty of times, but I know not everyone listens every day, and not everyone listens to Wisconsin On Demand and clicks the Wildy box.
More each day.
I'll never forget being in the locker room on a Friday in the 2018 season, and Thursday night football had been Rams-Vikings, and the Rams just ran circles around Mike Zimmer's defense. And it was Rodgers, Cobb, Adams, they're all in there, and they're all just talking about this offense. Did you see this? You see how open these guys were, this and that. And then, magically, Matt LaFleur appears, and while it took a while for him and Rodgers to figure out, what their, consortium of an offense was going to look like, you saw it right away. Like, I said it to LaFleur when we were doing his press conference at the end of the season last Tuesday, where I was just like, I just feel like you got here, and all of us were talking to each other, oh, my God, there's people wide open all the time. Like, you would watch the game, you'd watch the TV copy of the games, and there'd be moments, you don't notice this when you're up in the press box and you're seeing the whole field, but there'd be moments that if you were watching it on TV, the only person in the TV framework was the wide open receiver. Like, there wasn't a defender to be found. That's how open guys were, and I don't think that was the case this year. And I'm not saying that happened on every single play from 2019 through 2021, but one of the things about having a young quarterback, and one that sometimes struggles with inaccuracy, which is, I think, a fair critique of Jordan, is that when you have guys wide open, you don't have to put it on them quite as much precision. And when I look at Jared Goff, one of the things that he's got plenty of shortcomings, but he is really accurate with the football. And I don't know where Caleb Williams will be on that scale, and I don't know how wide open guys will be in Ben Johnson's Bears offense compared to the Lions offense. But if Caleb Williams is accurate, they're going to be scary. And so we'll have to wait and see, because I have not watched enough of the non-Packers Caleb Williams games to speak intelligently to his strengths and weaknesses.
As far as what Ben Johnson said, I know he made a comment about LaFleur, and I actually took it as that tells me he has a lot of respect for LaFleur and really enjoyed beating him. But I don't know that everybody else heard it the same way. I thought that's one of the best things somebody said about LaFleur in recent times.
Yeah, I mean, to say that he enjoyed it was, I don't know. I
just wants to let fans know, Bears fans, that he likes beating the Packers. I don't know. Maybe. What's
right?
He didn't have to say it.
That's exactly right. And look, I was saying this earlier. I can't remember who I said it to, but like he was being a politician, right? Like he was being the guy who says the things that his base really wants to hear. And Bears fans want to hear you talk some, about the Packers in some way. Now, it worked for Lovie Smith.
Yeah, he did. He was strong.
He came in and said, our number one priority.
We're going to beat the Pack.
Right. It wasn't, we're going to win a Super Bowl or we're going to get to the Super Bowl, although they did do that then in 2006. But, yeah, his credo was, our number one priority is to beat the Packers. Because and then he went on to explain, which it never gets talked about, is if we beat them, we're going to be in position to win the division. And if we win the division, it's going to give us a better chance of getting to where we want to go and win a championship. Now, they let people forget, like the Bears did go to a Super Bowl with Lovie Smith, and I think with Rex Grossman as the starting quarterback.
Yep, that's correct.
So, the Bears, if we're being honest, they fire Lovie after he went 10-6. In 2012, and they have been not very good ever since.
No, they messed up. That was a bad decision.
Right, and they've made subsequent bad decisions. Like, I don't know Matt Eberflus at all, but it didn't seem like that was a good hire from the beginning. And then, obviously, you get the first overall pick. You're going to draft this generational talent, or at least so he's been advertised. Just start over then. Like, instead of what they've done. So the reason, again, to go back to, I think, Kyle's tweets earlier, this is why this is significant, because as listeners to our stations well know, I am very much wanting the Bears to be relevant and good enough that you don't know who's going to win. I understand
that's your worst opinion ever in your entire life. You've never had an opinion as bad as that.
It's not an opinion. It's what I want.
I know, but you do. Jason, you want the Packers to win. The more the Packers win and dominate, your job is easier. Your job is more fun. People are happy. People want to know more and more, not about losing players, but about winning players. Your job is way better if the Packers win and the Bears suck than if the Bears are better and the Packers aren't as good, right?
Well, can't they both be good?
No, the better the Bears get, the harder it's going to be for the Packers to be good, right? They're in the division.
Not necessarily.
All right.
Like, don't you think that it was fun when when there were quarterback rivalries? Like, who was Aaron Rodgers' rival?
You know what's fun is whooping everybody. Fun is whooping everybody. Fun is people going, can you explain Aaron Rodgers? I think he maybe plays that position better than he was.
What's fun is winning Super Bowls. And winning a lot of games is fun.
Yes.
But ultimately, if you listen to every season-ending show that Tausch and I have had when the Packers have lost. There's nothing fun about that.
All right. Is
right?
it easier
and
or
people
harder
don't
to win the
care.
Super Bowl? Hold on. Is it easier or harder to win the Super Bowl if the Bears are good?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
It doesn't matter?
It doesn't. The Packers.
You played 2 games against them. If Caleb Williams is a really good quarterback and the Bears are good, it's going to be harder for the Packers to achieve whatever it is they want to achieve. You want all the teams in the division to stink to make your life
the
easier.
Packers, each of the last 2 years, the Packers have made the playoffs as the 7th seed.
Correct.
Do you think, after what you saw the Commanders do, because this is irrelevant of whether the Bears are good or not, the Packers split with the Bears. They still finished 11-6, and they lost. They went 0-2 against each of the other 2 teams in the division. They finished 11-6. If they don't shoot themselves in the foot with 4 turnovers, their defense plays well enough. They could have, and maybe even should have, beaten Philly, who is now playing for a trip to the Super Bowl. So you're telling me that even though they went 0-2 against Minnesota and Detroit, both of whom also lost their first playoff games, and went 1-1 against the Bears, and only won that one game by a fingertip, that you're telling me that the Packers couldn't have gone to the Super Bowl this year despite that record in the division?
No, I'm saying
they totally could have.
Their chances are better because the Bears stink. If the Bears were good, like they want to be, they could have beaten the Packers twice. Packers might not even have made the playoffs.
Once anyway. They beat them once anyway.
Again.
And they're terrible.
Again, that was a fluke. Right?
Right, but what I'm saying is it didn't prevent them from making the playoffs. And once you get in, the only way that the Bears being good is a problem is if you then meet them in the playoffs, like you did in the NFC title game in 2010, and then they still beat them anyway. Like, ultimately, all that really matters is that you get in. And all 4 teams are not going to get in. And the Packers were a quarter away and a knuckleheaded across his body, late over the middle into triple coverage Jordan Love interception from beating the 49ers on the road and being in the NFC Championship game last year. I think if they don't, first of all, if they call the helmet hit, the Packers were not the better team when they lost to the Eagles 2 Sundays ago. I totally get that. But, like, the chasm between them and the Lions, as we saw in the December 5th game, was not big. They had obviously continued to lose defensive players, the Lions had. Like, the fact that if you just get in, and obviously you want to have home games and all that other stuff, but I don't think the Bears being competitive and good and there being a Love versus Williams rivalry significantly decreases the Packers' chances of winning a Super Bowl. I just don't think it does.
Okay.
And maybe it even gets them more prepared for the postseason because they play some tight nip and tuck games. Because Lord knows when they played good teams this year, it didn't do anything to prepare them for a playoff game. Because then they went out and played some even worse than they had in some of the other losses they'd had against those good teams.
I tried and I failed. Thanks, Jason.
You did. All right, Homer. Take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, all Packers all the time. You go to WisconsinOnDemand.com, hit the button that says Jason Wilde. Tune in to Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker, HR, and benefits consultant. Behind the Bucks dives deep into the Bucks and Six, a culture unknowingly created by former Bucs star Brandon Jennings. Take a look inside the Brandon Jennings story, the origin of Bucks and Six, how it became the rallying cry, and what it truly means to Jennings and Bucks fans alike. Find the Behind the Bucks on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get your podcast. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher. Holtebeck Eye Center, I've been there. He gets it, Dr. Aaron Holtebeck. I want to take care of every vision problem for people at whatever the age. Met as he and his team recently. They have a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. But said, this isn't good enough. We got to be better. So Dr. Holtebeck recently added to his team the addition of Dr. Nausheen Abbas. They can handle everything, whatever the age, whatever the vision care needed. Don't mess with your vision. Trust the experts from Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com. Tim Van Voren is not next. He's soon. Next, we'll be figuring out the question, Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, addressing what Jason and I talked about. the Bears being better makes it harder on the Packers. But I couldn't get Jason to join that club. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. Join Homer on the trip of a lifetime to see the many shades of Ireland in August. Text Homer to 800-990-3776 for info.
Eastbound 94 seeing delays coming through the Barker Road area past Brookfield Road. Back on the brakes then from 76th Street all the way to 35th. The westbound side's backed up out of the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road. Southbound 41 got to slow down from Silver Spring all the way past Capitol. Back on the brakes just south of the Zoo Interchange all the way down to about Lincoln on the bypass. Southbound 43 is also going to be heavy from about Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high rise to the KK River. Northbound slowing down just about at Kilbourne all the way up to Locust. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, snow early, clearing later on, a low of 13. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 20. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Bring in the new year at your local Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis Auto Group dealerships. If it's the new year, it's time for a new ride. So plan on driving into 2025 in style at a Kunis Auto Group dealership near you. Your Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis dealerships feature America's best-selling brands from both Buick and GMC, all at nearby locations in Oak Creek and Greenfield. During January, every remaining new 2024 vehicle plus thousands of select pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs are all being discount price to sell. We've got to make immediate room for hundreds of incoming new 2025s, as well as hundreds of fresh trade-ins from the holiday season. We're paying top values on all trades, no matter what the mileage or condition. Don't forget to check out individual dealership websites for pre-owned vehicles super specials. Plus, January service specials on everything from oil changes, tires, and brakes. Ring in big New Year savings at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis Auto Group dealerships, or shop online at shopkunis.com.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Here's to a Wisconsin winter you will always remember. To playing outdoors in a winter wonderland. Here's to cozying up around the fire and holding someone close. And to staying downtown, where the food scene makes your heart sing. And to celebrating moments frozen in time. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your winter getaway at travelwisconsin.com. Sponsored by Travel Wisconsin.
Life's busy, and Quick Trip gets it. Whether you're grabbing fresh coffee, a bakery treat, or a quick meal, Quick Trip is your go-to for quality and fast service. From clean restrooms to fresh groceries, easy meal options, and guaranteed fuel, we make your day easier. Plus, enjoy perks like free ATMs, free air for your tires, and sweet rewards with the Quick Rewards program. Everything you need in one stop, and always a friendly, see you next time, Quick Trip, where your day gets easier and better.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Pebble has done it. The Discount Liquor Twitter poll question. Is it easier or harder for the Packers to win the Super Bowl if the Bears are good? You've got the latest numbers. Easier, very few, but harder and doesn't matter. I Remember the Bears in 85? Did the Bears make it harder for the Packers to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Because they won it. Yes. I don't get it. You have two more tough games in your division that you could lose. You want every team in the division to be as bad as possible, so you win the division. And now you can't then think you're good just because you won it. You've got to assess all the other teams in the NFC that are good to get to the Super Bowl or in the whole league. But in terms of, is it easier or harder for the Packers to win the Super Bowl if the Bears are good? Right now I've got easier 4%, harder 56%, doesn't matter 40%. How can it not matter? Not to mention the issue of if the Bears are really good, as did it make it harder for the Packers to win the Super Bowl when the Bears were good in the 80s? Of course it did, yes.
Yeah, updated numbers. I got easier 4%, harder 54%, doesn't matter 42%.
There's, as I've said before, that just means there's a lot of work to do. Doesn't matter. All right. Fisco Auto Body. I love talking about them because everybody needs an auto body place. And once you have one, you have Fisco, you're good forever. You've got it. Your kids have got everything. Just, go to Fisco. They'll take care of it. Just makes your life so much easier in situations that can kind of be a pain given what may have occurred. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Don't mention enough on Forest Home in Franklin. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. It's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. By the time they're working on your car, they've been doing this stuff so often, it's that easy. They won't say it, but the quality of their work does. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. Fisco on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco. You'll like them, and then you'll like me for telling you about them. Travel plans, listen up, got the specifics. Explore the many shades of Ireland with Colette Vacations and me and my wife. On August the 9th, we're heading off on an unbelievable journey. Explore the historic city of Dublin, kiss the famous Blarney Stone, and stand on the spectacular cliffs of Moher. Visit an Irish dairy farm, enjoy a taste or two at a historic whiskey distillery, stay in a medieval castle. Visit ESPN Milwaukee Travel for information, ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com, or get the details. February the 2nd. The wonderful Colette team will give you all the information. I'll be there. Maddie's Bar and Grill in New Berlin at 5 p.m. February 2nd, Maddie's Bar and Grill in New Berlin at 5 p.m. for all the info. Tim Van Vorn, Fox 6 Sports. Next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN. All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today.
Kevin Moret for Mentality. Most new clients in Mentality are stuck at just 1/3 the free testosterone they need, and that's a losing battle. Without enough free testosterone, nothing works. Your energy's gone, muscles weaken, and fat piles on. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Mentality's doctors bring your hormones back into balance so your body starts working again. More energy, stronger muscles, better results. This year, stop settling for a fraction of your potential. Start strong with our New Year offer at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the Holtebeck Eye Center team last September, and her practice philosophy is to provide patient-centered medicine by giving all options. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Homer here. I'm inviting you to join me starting August the 9th, as we explore the many shades of Ireland with Colette Vacations. A 10-day journey filled with legendary views, historic expeditions, and unforgettable tales. Explore the historic city of Dublin, kiss the famous Blarney Stone, and stand on the spectacular cliffs of Moher. We'll also journey Ireland's breathtaking countryside and follow the stunning coastal route of the Ring of Kerry. We'll experience the daily life of an Irish family with a dairy farm visit, and even enjoy a taste or two at a historic whiskey distillery. Plus, there's a stay overnight at a medieval castle. Join me for all of these experiences and many more. Visit ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com for trip information or come to Maddie's Bar and Grill in New Berlin on February the 2nd to meet me and the Colette team. Colette handles all the details of the 10-day excursion, the flights, the meals, the hotels, the experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss out. Learn all about it on February 2nd at 5 p.m. in New Berlin at Maddie's Bar and Grill.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Walsh for Universal Windows Direct. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. There is no limit and no payments for 3 whole years. Restrictions apply. If you already have a price quote, they'll beat it. Schedule your free in-home estimate today.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family. They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. If you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Rain Man is brought to you by Cousin Subs. Enjoy a $10 meal deal when ordered online. Visit cousinsubs.com or the Cousins app. Cousin Subs, they believe in better. Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. The 3 most important letters in sports. Even better than those.
TVV.
It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Voren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tim Van Voren, Fox 6 Sports. It's not the offseason. Every day is the season of the Green Bay Packers. Tim Van Voren, 3-time Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year. He has probably won other awards, but he won't tell us. And the Institute has not found that out yet. TVV, good evening.
Homer, a pleasure. Good evening.
All right, let's talk about the Packers and next year and what they have to do, what you think they'll do. You've heard from Goody. I've said the Packers are going to be good. The question is, are they special good, good enough? And who on this team is so good that the field tilts, which is necessary to win a Super Bowl? I don't really have one. Maybe you do.
I'll go Edgerrin Cooper.
All right.
Maybe not there yet, but just the skill set. I think, they didn't package anything for Edgerrin Cooper this year. He was hurt through training camp and, was certainly an impactful player, an all-rookie type player in the snaps he had. But you've got a special player there. I think that you do something defensively. And I like Jeff Hafley. I assume he'll be back in Green Bay. No reason for him not to be. So I assume they'll drop some things for Edgerrin Cooper. So he's a field tilter, if you ask me. Potential.
All right, good. That's a start. Do you agree with the premise that that's what they need? I mean, they're a good team. But my big question, and I, for the first time, actually have a question for Aaron Rodgers other than what the hell happened to you, and that is, you explain how you have this guy, Matt LaFleur, who can seem to get somebody open in any offense. Now you have this incredibly good running back, and all of a sudden nobody's open. So, Aaron, explain that. Now I want TVV. I'll give you a chance because I doubt I'll be having a one-on-one with Aaron Rodgers.
You never know. Maybe he'll be on the market and open to talk to anybody and seeking questions like that. Just seeking them. Not only open to them, seeking them. I would agree with you, Homer. I know I've talked on this program with you before about just kind of a lack of innovation this year from that Packer offense. Yes, much more reliance on the run, some well-designed run plays with that kind of spin around and Jacobs up the middle. That stuff was effective and, definitely seemed to be what Matt LaFleur was going for. But it's 2025. You have to throw the ball down the field, and there was so little of that this year from the Packers in terms of scheming anybody open. So was that the receivers just not able to do something that we thought they could do based off the year before, or was there just a lack of emphasis on it this year? It's probably both, but I think maybe a little lack of emphasis that came back to bite the Packers this year.
And as a result, this offseason, I got more concerned about Matt LaFleur than I do Jordan Love. Where are you?
It's interesting. My concern, if I'm a Packer observer, is on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, to me, I think the defense, played well for the most part. Obviously, it helps to play it helps to play New Orleans in December with Spencer Rattler.
But yeah, they should be a little bit better because you mentioned Cooper. Yeah. They got young players that should be better.
So I'm saying statistically, the defense was better, but you did get some pad gains that helped the stats for sure. Offensively, I don't really think the offense was better. And I think that's where the concern would be going into the Packers' upcoming season. Is that Matt LaFleur and the coaching staff? Is that the personnel on that side of the ball? Is that inexperience? I think I'll speak for myself. It's not fair to assume that other people felt the same way. But I thought I would see more from the receiving group this year. It looked like you had, multiple players pushing to really emerge coming off last season, and I don't think anybody emerged this season as a consistent wide receiver. So is that on the coaches? Is that on the group? Is that on Love throwing to the ball to them? We'll see. I would say this about, Jordan Love, and I guess I'll limit it to Jordan Love. I'm not down on Jordan Love. I'm not fully up on Jordan Love. I'm definitely on the, wait and see. Next year should be a progressive, ascending year for Jordan and Love. And if so, then everything's fine.
But you didn't anticipate you would have such an opinion after the end of last season. You didn't think, based on what you saw and felt at the end of last season, that 1 year later you'd be saying what you're saying now. I would agree with that.
I would agree with that. I would also say I saw C.J. Stroud in person this year, and they got to the playoffs and did some damage in the playoffs. I didn't think much of C.J. Stroud in person at all. After obviously he had a very good rookie year. So do guys regress? Do guys stagnate? Do you have to hit that? Do you accelerate a little bit and then you have to kick it in and hit that next gear? Maybe that's it. And I would say Jordan Love is certainly in that category. He's got to refire the engine here a little bit and take it to that next level. And is he capable of that? And it's not just one guy. It's Love in conjunction with his coaching staff and the passing, the guys on the outside in the passing game.
Here's my toughest. Who's going to be the biggest offensive weapon for Jordan Love next year?
Well, Josh Jacobs is the biggest offensive weapon on the Packer roster.
All right, Josh Jacobs
he's
one.
So reliable.
Okay.
Yep.
And
Tucker Kraft, too.
Tucker Kraft, number 2.
Yep.
Number 3? Jaden Reed? Not Jaden Reed.
I assume your receivers are at the start. You don't have Watson at the start of the year, I would say. You have Reed. You have Wicks. Uncertainty about Dobbs and Watson not ready yet. So, or is it somebody else you bring in to add to that group?
Do you feel, speaking of that, you've given us the top 2, Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft. Do you feel better or worse about Davante Adams as being a Packer next season?
I still think unlikely for Davante Adams to be a Packer. Just at the age he is, at the stage he is in his career, and he's had some injury problems. It's just too un-Packer-like as far as I'm concerned. And maybe they'll change it up. Obviously, when Brian Gutekunst first came in that 1 year, he had the 4 free agents. That was un-Packer-like, and it certainly made an impact. So, anyway, it just, Davante Adams isn't free either. You're giving up an awful lot of caps. One thing to say, well, does he fit in? Would you break your mold for a player like that? That's one thing. And then you also have to, give up compensation for him. So it just doesn't seem. I'm not thinking that's likely.
How much better do you think or fear the Bears will be with Ben Johnson? Or what's your quick thought on that right now?
Well, the Packers had one 1-point division win this year, so they should be concerned with all the teams in the division, and that included the Chicago Bears this year, and should include the Chicago Bears next year. I think they will be better next year. I think they were pretty good this year, decent this year, until the House of Cards, everything fell in after that Hail Mary. And, Matt Eberflus obviously didn't handle it well, and the lack of discipline for Stevenson and the way things just collapsed on that team. But at the beginning of the year, Chicago was fine. It was okay. They were an above 500 football team. So I think just because I don't think they're a dog meat team to start with, and I think Johnson is an upgrade. So, yeah, I expect them to be better for sure.
I don't think that we got to talk about Bob Uecker. Did we?
No.
Whatever you want to say.
I listened to him, viewed him, considered him a companion. You know what I mean? Homer, you and I are, and some of your audience obviously old enough to go back to, you had 25 games on TV all year. You listened to the radio. Yep. That is how you consumed baseball. And Bob Uecker was there night after night after night, 50-plus years, including toward the end, night after night after night, as much as possible, particularly for home games. This guy was a competitor just to get to the booth and get behind that microphone. And so I viewed him as a companion.
Did you get to interview him at all, ever?
Oh, yeah, many times, including...
did he call your name, or did you call you Buddy like he called me? Hey, Buddy.
Hello. He gave me what I will always miss. Hello, T. He always called me Hello, T.
Oh, good.
And I will miss hearing that. Yeah, I'll miss hearing that for sure.
He was like everybody had a nickname, right?
Yeah, and one of the last interviews I had with him was about the mortality of some of these old players when his good friend Mike Shannon died. And we sat down and talked about it. We turned it into a Beyond the Game story. It's still worth watching to me online and stuff like that because Uecker had such a perspective, man. And he was one of the last of the old-timers of that core.
Yeah, and
still doing it.
So famous. Only people old enough like us know it. All right, thanks, TVV. You bet. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service, but it's more than that. They've been doing it well for over 50 years. And this is why they are so good. They're small enough to handle your needs with special attention and large enough to have the clout to make it happen. Yeah, for you to be taken care of the best, the companies that Saganiac Planning works with have to understand they got to take care of the people at Saganiac Planning, and that's why they're large enough to have the clout to make it happen and small enough needs with special attention. Saganiac Planning, 262-783. Roger Maris, 6161. The Weekly Wager Show, and what is this? We got a controversy? Jen Ladd is protesting. She's the hottest gambler in the world in the NFL season. Now what? You got to listen to find out what the hell's going on, because that show needs Jen Ladd's pick, the hottest prognosticator on the planet Earth in the NFL season, regular season. Next.
Still have some delays along southbound 41 from just before Hampton down past Capitol Drive. We've also got eastbound 94, a couple pockets of heavy traffic